Assalamualaikum and hi to Madam Diana binti Mazan. We are from JBA1192E Group 4, subject code ECO162. And today we are going to present to you about the market structure that we choose, which is monopoly. So now let's move to table of contents. The first one that we will go through is definition of market structure in general. Secondly is to define the market structure that we choose, which is monopoly, in depth. Thirdly is examples of barriers that monopoly has. Fourth, price discrimination. And lastly is examples in real world firms. So for this group, we got 5 members, which is my name, Wanur Iman bin Wanur Hisham. And secondly, we got Ahmad Aizat bin Sarin. Thirdly, Amar Izzuddin bin Rizal. Fourth, Muhammad Ahmad Yasir bin Slamet. And lastly, Muhammad Shahid bin Suhaimi.
First of all, I'm going to tell you about the definition of market structure. Market structure can be defined as the size and distribution of sellers and buyers in the market, producing various goods and services. Market structure explains the different type of producing homogeneous products, differentiate products, or even a unique product, have full power to control the price or no power to control the price at all, and the entry of new firm as well as the existence of existing firm in the industry itself. For instance, the price is unable to fix because there are numerous sellers, causing the size of each individual seller in the industry to become too small to influence the market, whereas a monopoly is having full power to control the price since the firm is the single seller of a unique product in the whole industry. Therefore, economists group industries into 4 group distinct market structure, namely pure or perfect competition, monopoly, monopoly competition, and oligopoly.
So right now, I will explain to you in depth about the monopoly market structure. The reasons why monopoly exists is because there is only single player in the whole industry. That means there is only one particular seller or producer in the whole market. Secondly, the firms usually produce a product that has demands towards it. For example, TNB that supplies the electricity for whole Malaysia, including Sabah Sarawak. And thirdly, no competition from other players. Since there is a barriers to enter the market and not freely enter and exit the market, there is no newcomers that allowed to be in the market other than the monopoly itself. Lastly, is the product has no close substitute. For example, the electricity. We cannot find any other suppliers other than TNB to supply the electricity to our home or factory or any offices. And secondly is monopoly advantage. The monopoly firms make their own price. They determine their own price since there is no other competitors. They are called price maker. Yeah, and for them to increase the price does not really bother them since they are the only company or firms that produce the product. So the consumer has no choice but to choose them as the as to get whatever they needs lah. So thirdly is barriers for other firms to enter into the market. Since there is a barrier that were put by the governments, there is no any new firms that allowed to be in the market, exit and out. That means the entry or exit to the market or industry is very hard. And lastly is minimum advertising. Since the product has demands towards it and mostly it's a necessity towards the consumer, so there's no advertising, there's no like maximum advertising needed for the company to sustain their stability.
Well, now for my part, we are going to talk about the example of barriers that monopoly company face. First of all is the economy of skills, the size of existence firm, and the stability of the firm. Since the monopoly company has been around for a long time in the industry of a specific country, they are very strong in terms of financial and geographic. For any newcomers who want to enter the market, the probability of them failing is very high because they are still not as stable as the company that is monopolizing the industry in order to compete with these huge companies. Next, we have to talk about the ownership of raw materials such as lands and natural resources. For example, a company like Petronas who already has a place in Malaysia to gather the needed natural resources for their products, while for the newcomers, they will need to find these resources themselves. My third point would be patents and copyright. Monopoly companies have the rights first since they invented and pioneered the products in the first place. This is in order to keep their efforts not going in vain due to competitors copying their business models and products. The newcomers would most likely fail without the help of governments, such as from the aspect of funds and policy making. What I mentioned just now are the examples of barriers for the newcomers of an industry if they want to compete with the giant monopoly companies. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Syahid bin Suhaimi and I will explain about price discrimination. Definition of price discrimination is the same product charged with different price for different buyers and consumers. These are meant to maximize the profit to the company because they are the monopolists in the market. Existence of monopoly power. Only firms with this power can practice price discrimination. The firm needs to have the ability to control the price and output in order to perform these acts, since they are the only firms in the market. Secondly, market segregation, with the monopolists will segmentize the consumers into different categories and charge them with the different price but the same product. This may seem unfair, but in the real world, different price may include different facilities. For instance, each consumer will have a different ability and willingness to pay for the products in terms of comfort or quality. The consumer will be separated according to the different elasticity of demands. Thirdly, different degrees of elasticity of demands. The objective of doing it is to maximize profit. The charge may be high for inelastic demand, such as necessary goods, because consumers are not sensitive towards price increment. But for the elastic needed goods, the monopolist will charge lower price because the consumer are very sensitive to price change. Fourthly, the goods cannot be resold by the buyers to gain profit. The monopolist will face competition from the buyers who are paying the higher price if the monopolist were to resell the item back. This would then practice the culture of price discrimination, most likely to happen in the service sector and medical industry, where the act of resale is impossible. Last but not least, low cost of market separation or segmentation. The monopolist will make sure during the process of segmentation, the consumer into different categories of buyers. They will keep the cost lower in order to gain more profit. That's all for me.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Ahmad Yasir and I will explain about several examples of the word firms in Malaysia. First of all, we have Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB. TNB is a giant monopolistic example in Malaysia that supplies electricity throughout Malaysia, Peninsula and Borneo. This company for the past 34 years since 1990 has led to power Malaysia Lights. Second, we have Astro. Astro is a company based in Malaysia since 1996. It's a monopoly company in Malaysia that is only channeling company in Malaysia in television's communication that covers many channels overseas such as sports and news coverage globally. Lastly, we have Pharmaniaga. Pharmaniaga is a Malaysia-based company founded in 1994 that has supplied medicine to government hospital for a very long time. They have been government monopolistic since there is no new firm that would like to compete with them. in terms of supplying the goods to the government hospital. The big size of scale makes them strong even though in recent years post-pandemic era they have not profited.